Hey, I'm FTFE, and welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what the Justice League did to Steppenwolf in the Snyder Cut. Something doesn't feel quite right. Why am I... Wait, hold on. Go for fight.
Where's Wally here? Hey Craig, you're probably wondering what's going on. Well, you and we're about to do a collaboration video.
Yeah, we're covering Taboo Conspiracy together, right?
Yeah, that's right, mate. So I hope that explains things.
Well, not really. I'm upside down.
Yeah, I know. Happens all the time.
Wally, why am I upside down?
Well, I am from Australia, you know.
Okay, and?
Well, that's it, really. I'm in Australia. It makes sense for you to be upside down, if we're working together.
Wally, that makes no sense.
Yeah, gotta go, mate. Working on the video. You finish the intro. See you later.
Well, yeah, so where's Wally and I will be taking a look at a flat earth dumbass called Taboo Conspiracy for episode 55 of Flerfs, Our Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Thank you for joining me once again to see how low human IQ can actually get. Taboo Conspiracy is one of the dumbest flat earthers. I can't even fathom being that stupid, so to understand his videos a bit better, I'm going to get on the level of a Flerf. Shit! Ow! Shit! Ow! 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 Fuck! Emma! Ow!
What the hell were you thinking?
I thought I could just make myself as dumb as a flat earther.
You know what, Craig? You call flat earthers dumb, but you're the fucking idiot.
But I was just...
I don't want to hear it. You're sleeping on the couch tonight. Ugh. Why can't I just marry a normal person?
Well, I guess we should just take a look at what dumb shit Taboo Conspiracy is going to say.
Hello, everyone. My name is Taboo Conspiracy, and I'm a flat earther.
Vince, apparently they prefer the word retard.
Eh? Oh, how very quaint.
My topic for this presentation is, what does it mean to be a flat earther?
Oh, I know. It means you had a brain injury as a child.
We know that the media would proclaim that flat earthers are just stupid or uneducated, holding on to unproven, antiquated beliefs.
Yeah, that's right. That's a pretty accurate description of flat earth. I guess we're done here. Hit the like button and subscribe, and remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight.
Well, I have a bachelor's, a Juris Doctorate, and a master's, and many other flat earthers also have advanced degrees.
And not one flat earther has any kind of degree in physics. I've said for 2 years that if a flat earther comes forward who has a master's degree in physics and says the earth is flat, I'll delete my channel. But I'm still here.
Okay, so maybe we have the same formal education, but maybe we flat earthers are just ignorant of the heliocentric model.
No, you don't have the same formal education. See my previous statement. But yes, you all are very ignorant. That is true. 1 out of 2. That's 50%. Not bad for a flat earth idiot.
Surprisingly, nearly every flat earther knows more about the heliocentric model than your typical ball earther.
Oh, dear me.
No, you flat earthers do not understand the heliocentric model better than us.
Now that I think about it, the sun, we're told, is a big gaseous ball burning in space in a vacuum. By the way, since we're on the subject of vacuums, fire, the element by which the sun exerts its energy, and I don't care if it's nuclear fission or what, it's still fire, needs what element, folks, in order to continue to burn? Oxygen.
Let me tell you what a ball earther believes. They believe all of the planets, moons, asteroids, meteors, and satellites of our solar system are chasing after the sun that is flying around our galaxy at a speed of 514,000 miles per hour.
As normal, a Flerf strawmans the heliocentric model to then claim that his particular strawman is ridiculous. Bad start in understanding the heliocentric model better than us. No, the planets are not chasing the sun. The entire solar system is orbiting the centre of the galaxy. The reason for this is the entire solar system can be classed as one large gravitational well, and it's that gravitational well that orbits the even larger gravitational well of the supermassive black hole at the centre of our galaxy. It's only ridiculous to you because, well, you're a fucking idiot.
Ball earthers believe that a comet, like Halley's Comet, can get yanked back every 75 years and catch right back up with a zooming solar system right on schedule. That's stupid.
Nope, not how that happens. Halley's Comet never leaves the solar system. It just comes close enough to Earth to be seen with the naked eye every 75 years. Like everything else in the solar system, Halley's Comet is orbiting the centre of the galaxy with us, as part of the combined gravitational well of every object in the solar system.
They believe that even though the Earth is wobbling, spinning, and vortexing through the vacuum of space at insane speeds, that the North Star has never changed position in recorded history, simply because it's really, really, really far away.
Again, not how that works. The North Star has moved. On screen now is a link to a website by MC Toon with historical records of the position of Polaris and its changes over time. Sailors have to plot the changing position of stars or celestial navigation wouldn't have worked. Reports from history show that the position which all stars rotate around has changed. For instance, the Greek navigator Pythagoras in 320 BC described the celestial pole as devoid of stars.
That the North Star has never changed position in recorded history.
That's awkward.
They believe that all of the wobbling, spinning, and vortexing through space cannot be felt, measured, or detected on Earth.
Yo, Bob.
If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob.
Einstein himself said there was no optical experiment that can detect the Earth's motion. That's stupid.
You're stupid because you quote mined a scientist who says in the very statement that you quote mined that the Earth is revolving around the sun. Einstein, in this case, was talking about the specific results of the Murchison-Morley experiment, which flat earthers also don't understand.
They believe that the sun and moon only appear to be the same size in our sky, based solely on an impossible coincidence.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away. Small, far away.
I don't know what to say. This guy's a fucking genius.
They believe that our pressurized atmosphere is adjacent to an inconceivably powerful vacuum without any effect whatsoever on our air supply or anything else. That's stupid.
And we get to the biggest straw man ever. The atmosphere is right next to a vacuum and nothing happens. That's wrong twice in one shot. Good job. We actually lose about 90 tons of atmosphere to space every day, and also the atmosphere isn't next to a vacuum. A very low pressure is next to a slightly higher pressure, which 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 is next to a slightly higher pressure, until we get to sea level, where it's about 14.7 psi. It's the reason there is noticeably less pressure at the top of Everest compared to the bottom, and this gradient of pressure is caused by...
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Gravity!
They believe that the bulge of the Earth can disappear and relocate many miles further while leaving objects in between unaffected, like in this infamous Black Swan video from BMLSB 69. Relocating geometric horizons in Earth bulges while not affecting the objects in between, that's stupid.
We've cooked the Black Swan many times. In fact, I'm kind of sick of Swan. Refraction is a fucking thing. Light bends, and to demonstrate this perfectly, we will use the Black Swan image. You said nothing in between was affected. Then please, explain this fucking crane to me.
They believe that the alleged ISS spaceship, which most certainly looks like a kid's model, which was never assembled on Earth for testing, is actually falling perpetually at 17,000 miles per hour in the vacuum of space. That's stupid.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ. Why would they assemble and test something on Earth that is designed to spend its entire life cycle in space? And we know that it is going at 17,000 miles an hour and is in space because Red's Rhetoric and Astronomy Live measured the speed and altitude of it. Check this video for proof. You know what? I think that you've demonstrated that you in fact have no clue what the heliocentric model claims, and all you have is ignorance and stupidity. I think it's time that flat earthers present some evidence that the Earth is flat and non-rotating instead of just making up stupid strawman claims and saying they are impossible. I'm putting my foot down. I'm going to wait right here until a flat earther presents me with evidence of the Earth being flat and non-rotating. What's that, young flatty? Did you bring some evidence? Don't let old fights scare ya. Let's see what you got.
They believe the alleged ball planet of Pluto coincidentally happens to have an unmistakable Disney Pluto dog on it. That's stupid.
Holy fuck, you've got dumber. I wonder if the remedial classroom's still a thing. You need to go there. Okay class, I'm back after my little break. I've been told the headmaster had a word with you after Mrs. Fight ran out of the school screaming last week. I hope we can get through this without too much interruption. Mrs. Thompson and Mr. Whitsitt, why are you sitting with your backs to each other on separate sides of the class? What's that? Nathan stole your toys? Nathan, is that true? You say the toys were given to you, so you took them. Well, no, Nathan, those toys are for everyone to play with. Well, they have your name on them now because you just wrote it on with crayon. Oh, good job on writing your name, by the way. But no, you don't get to keep everything to yourself. Anyway, today we are going to talk about pareidolia. Pareidolia can cause humans to see faces and other familiar objects in shapes, like seeing a face in a rock or a unicorn in the clouds, or even Pluto the dog on the dwarf planet Pluto. This happens because the brain fills in the gaps to allow us to quickly make sense of the world around us. But that doesn't mean that those things are real. So because a mountain happens to look like a giant tree stump, for instance, doesn't mean that it is. No, I didn't just say that mountains are trees. No, I said they might look like... Please, no, don't be so stupid. Where's those pills the doctor gave me? Class dismissed. I need to take a nap. That young Wally fella can take over for a while.
Hello, everyone.
Taboo conspiracy. Well, he seems to think that rockets don't go into space and that they fall into the water out to sea.
In this video, you can hear the child proclaim that the so-called space rocket is actually falling down, as it truly is. Just listen.
It's drifting. That's bad.
It's doing good so far.
Is it? Is that what always happens? Does it always go like that?
Yep.
It looks bad to me. It's in space. Or is it? Is that it?
Yep, I think that's it.
Rockets don't go to space. They arc and fall in the water, as you can see in numerous examples. The child gets it because he hasn't been programmed extensively enough to unquestioningly accept NASA. Instead, the adult, under a hypnotic state, won't allow himself to question his many years of space indoctrination, even though his eyes tell him otherwise. What do your eyes tell you? Just look at the space shuttle launch. Does any person here really think that that space shuttle is in space? It's laughable.
Well, mate, this is a matter of perspective, and we all know how flatties just love perspective. I took this footage by Red's Rhetoric. It's a classic view of a rocket launch, and this time it was the Atlas V AEHF-5 launch on the 8th of August 2019. Now I've sped it up a little bit just to save time, but you can see it goes up and appears to come down. But if you watch it from a different perspective, then we see this. So what I did was I found 3 other cool videos of the exact same launch, but taken from different places, different angles, and we see things a little differently. Now add to this the fact that flatties just don't understand launch profiles, because a rocket is only going straight up for the first few seconds, maybe a minute. Then it very quickly starts arcing over. Now this is because getting into orbit is not so much about getting up to 400 kilometers above the surface, but getting to the speed of 27,600 kilometers an hour that's needed to stay there. So in just a minute, the rocket is moving away from you much faster than it's going up. Now, if you're finding that a little difficult to understand, let's say you're on a small country road and you want to join this huge autobahn. Would you prefer to use a T-intersection or a long on-ramp? It's pretty obvious when you think about it like that. So it seems it isn't our eyes that's the problem, but it's our brain that's doing the thinking. Or perhaps it's the flattie's brain that's not doing the thinking that's the issue. Okay, that's enough from me now. Back to Craig. I said back to Craig. Craig? Maybe somebody should check his pulse. Well, I guess I'll just have to carry on from now. I'm going to have a look at Amy and Simon Dan and the clear flame from the Apollo launch.
So, let's start with this one. One other thing. Notice that there is no thrust from the nozzle. Yes, there should have been a huge flame and obvious light source from the nozzle.
No, there shouldn't. Here is a short clip from the Vintage Space YouTube channel telling us why.
But the lunar module didn't burn the same combination of fuel and oxidizer. Instead, it used hypergolic fuels, or hypergols. Hypergols burn on contact. They don't need an ignition source, which means all you have to do is open a valve, let the two mix, and boom, you're off. Which is great with spaceflight because that's one less thing to worry about. Another characteristic of hypergols is that they typically burn clear. This is the case of the lunar module. Both the lunar module ascent stage and descent stage used a mix of aerosine 50 and dinitrogen tetroxide, a fuel and an oxidizer that burn on contact with a characteristic clear flame.
I do have to commend NASA for using a beautiful propagandist. It's a wonderful change from Simon Dan, and it strangely makes me want to conform. Even though she's hot, she isn't telling you the truth.
Oh, Taboo, you do sound a little bit creepy there. Just stop and listen to what Amy's saying.
Anyways, did you notice that she used the words clear flame?
So what you failed to grasp, Taboo Conspiracy, is that hydrazine is burning in a very uncontrolled way in this little experiment outside the university. The mix ratios are, well, very random. Rich, obviously very rich in one part, but it's certainly not controlled like it would be inside the rocket engine, which would be designed to mix the fuels very efficiently and to produce the least waste and the most power. Another thing that you missed there, Taboo, would be that it's on the moon and it's in a vacuum. So there's no other little side reactions going on, unlike in the atmosphere here on Earth, which is full of oxygen, nitrogen, and a whole pile of other little bits and pieces, which may well be producing those coloured byproducts.
So the question is whether the hypergolic fuel mixture of the Apollo 15 and Apollo 17 ascent stages would have burned clear, and thus mostly invisible from the remote-controlled camera on the moon. She was right about the alleged fuel used by the lunar lander movie prop. It was an alleged mixture of dinitrogen tetroxide and Aerozine 50. It sounds so impressive. But is the flame from the hypergolic propellant invisible, as she claimed? Yes, there should have been a huge flame and obvious light source from the nozzle.
No, there shouldn't.
Who thinks Simon Dan is lying to you?
Well, Taboo, I certainly see a problem with what you've just demonstrated here. But if Amy is too smart and too feminine for you to listen to, how about you try someone who's, like, manly? Real manly. How manly? How about Scott Manly?
So, during the Sky Crane, we get to see a whole bunch of weird stuff we didn't quite expect. First of all, those engines, they look awfully dark. It's almost as if they're not working. Now, obviously they're working. We can see the exhaust pushing the surface of Mars around. These are hydrazine monopropellant thrusters. Hydrazine is a molecule with 2 nitrogens and then 4 hydrogens around the outside. And they drive that through a catalyst that causes it to decompose mainly into nitrogen and hydrogen and possibly a bit of ammonia. This is an exothermic reaction that produces temperatures of about 1000 Celsius, but by the time it expands through that nozzle, it's cooled down and recombined. There's no more active components, so it's just optically thin and it's not really producing any visible flame.
Well, that's all from me. Back to fight. Oi, fight.
Huh? What? Are we done? Good, because that's all the stupid that me and my old heart can take.
Hey, it's Simon Dan. After FTFE's guest appearance on my channel last week, I thought I'd return the favour and help him out while he's recovering and do a video for him too. But what are we going to look at? Well, you'll be pleased to know that the Flat Earth Institute of Science's founder, Kyle Adams, is the star of today's show, and he is adamant that Flat Earth is growing.
We're living on a disk floating through space. With a tiny sun.
Hello all, and welcome to the FTFE channel with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. So, Kyle Adams is taking a look at Flat Earth demographics, the perfect opportunity to fact check him as he goes. Let's crack on, shall we?
Here in the Flat Earth Institute of Science, we don't just enjoy learning about the flat Earth, we enjoy learning about the flat earthers themselves.
Oh dear, I wouldn't do that if I were you. You got this guy for starters.
So today, we're talking about something we haven't seen anyone else talk about, and that is our demographics.
Some people say the flat Earth is a dying movement.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Not good at all.
And point to Google Trends. But that is not what our records show.
Ah, ODD TV. This jump looks at about the time that he decided to focus on rapping rather than flat Earth.
As we have kept track of the different flat Earth channels out there, their growth may have slowed down some, but we can see that the vast majority of our numbers are still growing strong.
I want to claim some credit here because I think this is more people coming to witness the atrocious yet humorous arguments given by you flat earthers.
So what's going on here? If we're not getting our numbers from people searching the term flat Earth on Google or YouTube, where are we getting our numbers from?
Well, here's our first demographic. As you can see here with this blue line, the vast majority of our views usually come from external sources. These include social media posts, referrals from different Flat Earth websites, and different Flat Earth apps.
Oh, like the Flat Earth Clock app.
Oh man, not this thing. This app is just a clock with a flat Earth picture in the middle of it, which completely exposes the flat Earth model. That app.
Yes, that is a really good example of an external source. As many know, when you simply type flat earth in a Google or YouTube search bar, the algorithms favor anti-flat earth channels. With that being the case, many people have learned to just quit using the search bar and instead use other methods, such as the Flat Earth Clock app. This is also why it's so important for us to make lists of different Flat Earth channels so we can help make them easier for other people to find.
Yeah, but your audience probably know those channels anyway, don't they?
Just as an FYI, we now currently have just about 100 different Flat Earth channels on our list on our debate board.
100? No way.
Oh wow, that's growing really fast.
It sure is. The Flat Earth movement continues to grow because the Flat Earthers are banding together, forming a tighter-knit community, and are helping each other out.
Didn't Nathan Thompson literally steal off Witsit Gets It last month? Positively charitable.
What is this green line over here? It says channel pages. What is that?
I'm so glad you asked me about that. Here, let me show you something really quick. When I am on the hunt to try and find new Flat Earth channels, one place I often look for them is in the channel section of a particular Flat Earth channel. So here I'm going to go ahead and click on DITRH and see what channels he features. So here we are at DITRH, and you just click on the channels button and boom! You've got tons of different channels.
Ah, amazing. Fresh meat. Thanks, Carl.
Now, not all of those are Flat Earth channels, but quite a few of them are. As you can see, there's quite a few of them here, and you can go ahead and click on any one of those channels and do the same thing there. Just click on their channels button, and you can see if they've got any other Flat Earth channels that DITRH didn't mention.
Yes, because DITRH is the absolute king of flat earthers, isn't he? That's not a very good statement, is it?
So just because we are not getting as much traffic through search bars as Google Trends depicts, that doesn't mean the Flat Earth is a dying movement.
Look at him still using ODD's new rap-loving subscribers as a way to show that Flat Earth is growing. Bless him.
Isn't that just really suspicious in itself, how Google is trying to block the Flat Earth community?
No, because they said they were going to do that. Well, not block, just not recommend.
You don't see that with Bigfoot or people who really believe in aliens or anything. But this one really gets attention. I find that really suspicious.
You're right. There really is something suspicious about that. Just you mentioning that makes me think of the many different Flat Earth Facebook groups out there, and how there are a bunch of them that are not made by Flat Earthers.
I have a strong suspicion that this could be, just could be, people mocking you.
But are actually made by trolls who just want to ridicule the Flat Earth.
Yeah, as I thought.
Do people make false flying spaghetti monster Facebook groups just to ridicule them? No.
No, because no one actually takes the flying spaghetti monster seriously. Well, I don't think so.
With that being the case, I've spoken with a lot of people who are totally convinced those trolls are being paid to be there. Just like hiring mobs and bringing them in on tour buses for certain political events.
The tears of Flat Earthers are payment enough, I think.
Oh, wow. I can see that. Now let's talk about some other demographics. Let's talk about geography. You can see most of our views come from the United States and the UK. Although I think a big part of that is because we speak English.
Oh, listen to them. 67 countries officially speak English, guys.
I'm sure it's really different for the Flat Earth 101 channel, which speaks Indonesian, and Oliver Ibanez's channel, which speaks Spanish.
For sure.
Next, we have viewer age. I think it's quite noteworthy how it seems we have a middle-aged audience. Though I have a difficult time believing that no one under the age of 30 watches our videos.
Yes, that is strange that a certain age group isn't interested in Flat Earth at all. Now that I think of it, there aren't many young Flat Earthers, are there?
so it seems something is going on there. But nonetheless, it does make me happy to see that most of our viewers are between the ages of 45 and 54. I definitely consider that to be a pretty intelligent bunch.
Well, most of my viewers are between 25 and 34, which tells me that they're a much more intelligent bunch. Jokes.
I agree.
Next up, we have our viewer gender. I'm a little surprised to see so few female viewers.
Well, I can tell you this. Seeing that most certainly makes me want to do what I can to help promote the female Flat Earth channels that are out there.
Oh, you know what? I think we should do a video about the top 10 female Flat Earth channels.
Ooh, I like that idea. Let's do that.
Yes, please do. I'll be very interested in growing my own female audience, thank you.
Alright, next week we will do our next video in our Modern Earth Science Destroyed series, and then the following week we'll come back and do a video about the top 10 female Flat Earth channels.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, guess what? They didn't end up making that video, and I can only assume that's because they couldn't find 10 female Flat Earth channels. I mean, I can only think of 2 off the top of my head, Karen B and Orphan Red, and that's about it. And we all know why that is, don't we? The female of the species certainly seems to be the smarter of the 2.
Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Batman says he does not do to the villains that he faces. One sec. Yo, Bats. I thought you said you didn't kill.
Batman doesn't kill anybody. Those people are just sleeping. They're fine. Just sleeping. Dead. Asleep. At the bat signal, I have to go. It's an emergency. A bat emergency. Coming out for cream and 2 sugars. I'm Batman.
Yeah, we know. You're Batman. Anyway, Flat Earth is getting desperate. So desperate that they gathered the top minds of Flat Earth. And made a movie. Well, I say movie, it's more like all of the world's stupidity condensed into 1 hour and 2 minutes of pure cringe. I honestly struggled to watch this movie because my brain was attempting to escape out of my earhole so that it didn't have to endure that much idiocy. There is so much stupidity contained within this movie that I'll be splitting the debunk into 3, 4, or maybe even 5 parts. So sit back, relax, definitely wear your facepalm protection as I ruin Eric Dubé's day for episode 57 of Flerfs Are Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Thank you for joining me once again as we look at some people who think you can't actually be this stupid, can you? Is a challenge and not a question. Yes, Eric Dubé released his Flat Earth movie, which he called Level, which is dumb to start with, as according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the adjective, the describing word for the word level, means conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface. So I guess we agree. Earth is level, just not what you think level means. Now, the Flatties have put this movie on IMDb, which currently has this rating score. But before we start, I would like to read you the entry for Eric Dubé's IMDb page, because the Flat Earthers are so stupid they don't realise that anybody can edit IMDb. A conman that has fooled hundreds if not thousands of people into giving him money in a desperate attempt to keep from getting a real job, because he knows he is far too uneducated for anything short of a fry cook. His knowledge of science is the equivalent to that of a preschooler, yet his delusional mind is convinced that he is smarter than every astronomer and physicist that has ever lived. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the stupid.
So there it is. The Earth from outer space. Do you believe this is a real, live recording? Do you believe? How about now? Does this make it more believable?
No, Eric, sticking random shit on the screen doesn't make things more or less believable. I've frankly no idea if that is a real image or not that you showed, but it doesn't really matter if it's real because we humans have been to space and seen the Earth in its entirety, which is how I know how to make this awesome CGI globe, which I made using After Effects and Video Copilot's free Orb plugin. I made that with data from NASA and other space agencies, which we wouldn't have if we'd not been to space. Yes, CGI exists, but that doesn't mean everything you see is CGI.
Okay, well this is a different sort of video. It wasn't one I actually intended to make in any way, shape or form whatsoever. This is just looking at the television, and if you look closely, which I recommend you do, you can see this isn't actually real footage at all. This is all somehow CGI rendered whatever crap.
Ask yourself,
is this real? Do you believe? Is this real?
Let's try this another way.
Breaking news. NASA finally did it. They finally did it. They're finally live streaming the Earth spinning from outer space. The world is celebrating. This one will go down in history.
I mean, that's not really a new thing. There's been many live streams from space, including EchoStar 11, that streamed live to the Dish network for years. Or you've got Himawari 8 that takes a new image from space every 10 minutes.
Convinced? Well, if you didn't fall for that, then why would you fall for this? Maybe you just never paid attention. When you do pay attention, you start to notice things. Are you paying attention?
Good job, Eric. You noticed that the rocket in space has two cameras set at different angles, so that the engineers can keep an eye on the rocket's performance. But what's this? The Earth looks curved in one but concave in the other? The scoundrels! Are they trying to fool us? No, it's just wide-angle lenses that have obvious fisheye, unlike this footage from Mr. Sensible's Mage 2 project, that sent a probe with 3 cameras to the edge of space. One of the cameras was a specifically set up narrow-angle lens with reference strings in front to see that no curve is induced by the camera. And what do you know? You see a curve. As predicted. And there we go, guys, a handy list of the dumbest people on Earth for your reference. When those people die, the average IQ of the human race will double. That's a nice intro, but I think I can make it better with just one little creative change.
Did you know that starting at the end of 2015 through 2017, Flat Earth was one of the top search terms in the USA, let alone the world?
Look at Eric go, starting with an outright lie. According to data from Google, the biggest search engine in the world, if we look at the top 10 search results for the USA for 2015, 2016, 2017, the term Flat Earth appears a total of 0 times. This could be interesting. Let's get a lies of debate counter up in the corner and see how many we can get by the end of this 3 to 5 part debunk series.
While most of you were falling for the political charades, the rest of us were trying to discover the true nature about our world.
Oh, by the rest of us, you mean the people that like a hearty breakfast of the purple crayon? And by discover the true nature of our world, you mean misunderstand pretty much everything about extremely basic physics and think we're special, right? Fucking idiots.
My name is ODD TV. I'm a local rapper here in Denver, Colorado.
I just want you to know the truth, so please don't shoot the messenger. It's a bitch, but this is how it is when you live.
I've been rapping for 20 years, just like anyone else. When you're a kid and you're really into music, you're into making music, every kid looks in that mirror and fantasizes about being famous.
Flat Earth rappers. Oh god, we all know how that goes, don't we? Here's Mr. Sensible listening to top Flat Earth rapper, Multi Tom Tom.
Earth is flat, the earth is flat. You know the earth is flat. Ain't got time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. But you believe in the lies of the Freemasonic Society.
And because I like to make my own music, I just decided, screw it. I'm going to make a YouTube channel and start talking in video.
So you decided to, instead of pursuing what could be a promising music career, spit absolute nonsense about the flat earth. You know what? It's absolutely amazing. In America, the land of opportunity, where you can be whatever you choose to be, you, ODD, chose to be a fucking idiot.
There has never been one experiment that proves that the Earth is in motion.
We've been through this. Bob?
If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15-degree-per-hour drift.
When you try to find the curvature of the Earth, it's nowhere to be found.
You guys are so stupid. Jism.
If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard, or at 17 feet off the water, the Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're gonna hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, it's as, we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting. Interesting there.
Unless you're looking at footage from GoPro cameras that have fisheye lenses, Hollywood movies, or NASA propaganda.
A little bit dishonest there, labelling everything from NASA as propaganda, so pre-dismissing any evidence from people that have, actually been to space. Lie to Flerf.
Started making the videos in 2014, early 2015. Started getting noticed. You're living in a world where there's fake people faking events on TV in order to move agendas forward. With the Earth being flat, I couldn't just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done anything because Because the Earth's not flat, you fucking idiot.
There was videos everywhere. There was videos of people doing science, putting balloons up with a camera that doesn't have a fisheye lens on it, like a GoPro lens, a wide-angle lens.
I've never seen a video from a flat earther that sent a balloon up with a narrow angle lens. However, like I said earlier, Mr. Sensible did, and he had controls. Click the link up there to subscribe to Mr. Sensible's cat, Arnold.
And they were using these cameras that didn't have those. The horizon rose to eye level, which would be impossible on a ball that would be falling away from you as you rose up.
So you're saying that cameras with no fisheye lens were used? Well, let's take a look at the video that you're using and test that claim, shall we? In this 4 seconds of footage, we can clearly see a fisheye lens is used. As we place a straight line across the horizon on the first frame, we see a clear gap in the middle, indicating this horizon bends upwards at the edges. Is it ODD's contention the Earth is in fact concave like a bowl? Let's move the footage forward a little, and as the camera moves up and the horizon moves down, we can clearly see the gap in the middle get bigger. This indicates that the barrel distortion has gotten worse away from the center, showing that this lens is clearly a fisheye lens. If you have footage of balloons with no fisheye lens, why, in this movie, did you show one with fisheye lens?
And rose to eye level, which would be impossible on a ball that would be falling away from you as you rose up.
And no, the horizon most definitely does not rise to eye level. One of my favourite pictures to debunk this claim is from a fellow flat earth destroyer, MC Toon, who took this picture showing the moon above the horizon but below eye level.
There's people putting out top 10 NASA hoax videos debunking the moon landing, picking apart NASA just left and right. It was awesome. Awesome time for YouTube between 2015 and 17.
An awesome time for YouTube, yes, because it gave people like me, Conspiracy Cat, Simon Dan, The Creaky Blinder, Team Skeptic and Mr. Sensible plenty of content to debunk. Sometimes it's like you morons write our content for us. Thanks.
Even Google mentioned it during their commercial. Do you remember this? Why would Google be promoting this?
As a joke?
As a joke? No. We know why. They were panicking. Panicking because the platform they purchased 10 years ago was collapsing with truth. The powers that be would not allow that.
No, Eric, nobody was panicking. Most were laughing. You never had big videos. Flat Earth was never trending. I'm adding one to the like counter.
As we want to provide users with authoritative, trustworthy information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
So instead of deleting all of the millions of videos we have made, they simply decided to bring in their puppets to reiterate the agenda at stake.
Putting a box that says the Earth isn't flat is a good thing to do because it allows you to keep your videos on YouTube, but let people know they're full of utter shite.
We are already sufficiently motivated to invest the necessary resources and people in addressing this threat.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
The Earth being flat is getting out of control. Can you please help?
Can you please help? When you stand on the shoulders of those who came before, you might just see far enough to realize the Earth isn't flat.
1 + 1 is?
2.
What color is the sky?
Blue.
And the Earth is?
Round. Second is here.
This float celebrates flat Earth theory that is spreading ironically around the
world and its possible roundness. Spinning.
Now they are talking about it.
Yeah, we are talking about it because it's 2021 and people saying the Earth is flat is fucking hilarious. Flat Earth is the internet's pet rock. We keep it around to poke it every now and then to see what happens. Usually something stupid.
They want you to search for it because they already changed their algorithm to be set up in their favor.
What is this trash?
None of this tells you our side of the story. These are all videos they put together, so you can watch and learn nothing.
You can learn how big of a joke Flat Earth is, and Eric, your side of the story is just being willfully ignorant.
Nothing that any of us would show you. Like here, have you ever seen a time lapse of the sun? Does it look like the Earth is rotating backwards and the sun is still? Or does it look like our sun is simply moving across our sky, traveling away from your perspective? Again, but with some inversion. You can clearly see the sun, not only decreasing its size, but heading towards its next destination with a slight turn before it disappears from your line of sight.
Well, that video you just showed 100% looks like the Earth rotated away from the sun because the sun set. Something it wouldn't do if it was just moving away from us. I've made this 3D model using After Effects and Element 3D. I've set up 4 camera views. The one on the top right is looking from the position of an observer in North America at the sun. The sun's been placed about 5,000 miles up, and as you can see, at no point does the sun set. And I can assure you, After Effects takes perspective into account, but one thing you'll notice in the 3D model that I made is that the sun got smaller as it moved away, which, according to this video by Red's Rhetoric, where he used a solar filter to take pictures of the sun throughout the day, it does not. The sun retains its angular size in the sky all day long. Impossible with a local sun on a flat Earth.
While Google would make sure when you type in flat Earth that nothing like this would ever pop up, many agree the science regarding our sun is far from settled.
Add another one to the debate lie counter because no, Eric, no one would agree with that. We know exactly what the sun is. It's a nearly perfect sphere of plasma with a circumference of about 2.7 million miles, powered by a core of nuclear fusion sitting at about 93 million miles away. It's not our fault if, as a child, you huffed far too much glue to be able to understand that.
We're told that the sun is a massive ball of burning gas 93 million miles away.
Oh look, it's allegedly Dave. What have you been up to recently, Dave?
Well, I've been drinking urine now for... Drinking urine?
But no, nowhere are we told the sun is a burning ball of gas. It's not burning, it's nuclear fusion.
But if that were true, then all the light that arrives here would be parallel because it's so far away. And it has to be parallel because one of the most often cited supposed globe proofs is Eratosthenes' experiment between Alexandria and Syene, by which he calculated the size of the Earth.
Yeah, that's right. Even 2,500 years ago, we figured out the Earth isn't flat. How are you going to get this wrong, Dave?
For that calculation to be accurate, the light must come down parallel. The only problem is that that's not what we see. If you go out on a sunny day with broken cloud, what you'll see is that light comes down at angles, diverging angles. And that means that we can follow those light rays back to the source and triangulate the sun's height above the Earth, proving that the sun isn't millions of miles away.
No, Dave, just know those rays you see through the clouds are actually parallel. This is a case where perspective is actually the answer. What you're seeing is a simple perspective illusion. For instance, you can watch a cloud get blown along by the wind in the distance, and the rays coming from the sun underneath the clouds shift along with it. Does that mean that the sun is in that cloud? Or look at this picture, Dave. Is the sun actually underneath those clouds? Or this picture, Dave. Is the sun underground? You fucking idiot.
It doesn't take a genius to understand that the further the light source goes up, the more the sun rays would spread out and become parallel.
No, it doesn't take a genius, Eric, and you most certainly are not a genius. A liar, a moron, a con man. Sure, but not genius.
The reason you'd even think that the sun...
If the Earth was flat, wouldn't it be sunny all the time? I mean, have they ever even thought about it?
Well, if you'd let me finish, the reason you'd even think the sun would be visible from anywhere on Earth is because of the images they have shown you.
No, it's because that's correct. If the Earth was flat, you'd be able to see the sun everywhere. All at once. It would never be night.
No one promoting this bullshit stands for truth. You can keep believing in your fantasy gas ball 93 million miles away.
You can keep believing in your fantasy gas ball.
While we keep experimenting to try and figure out what the sun actually is.
You know what, it's cool, we've done that a long time ago. You can try an experiment, but we've seen what happens when flat earthers do experiments, haven't we?
And how close it could be. With a local hotspot, it should be easy to comprehend that the sun is small and close to you.
To put that in perspective, imagine a table 2 meters wide in a completely dark room, and you're holding a small but very bright light bulb, 3.4 millimeters across, and you are holding it about 31 centimeters above the table. What you'd see is a circular pool of light directly on the table, beneath the light bulb. But on the other side of the table, it would be in darkness.
First off, the sun doesn't have a lampshade or anything to make the distinct shadow that you have there, and even if it wasn't as bright as directly underneath the magic lampshade, sun, you'd still be able to see it wherever you are on a flat earth, unless it's literally low enough that pilots have to avoid it.
Now, it seems to our mind that if you were on the other side of the table, you would see the light because it's, above the table. But that's not true, because on that part of the table, it's in darkness, meaning that the light isn't physically reaching that part of the tabletop.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
Why, Dave? Why is the light not physically reaching your eyes?
Your senses are correct.
We're also told that the sun sets because as the Earth rotates us away from the sun, it's actually obscured by the physical curvature of the Earth. That's not what we see.
What we see is a local sun that is taking its local light with it. What happened to the horizon glowing across half of the world?
Add another one to the lie counter for being so dishonest, Eric.
Most sunsets are already fading through pollution, dander, chemtrails, and fog. Plus, refraction will always make the sun seem like it's going down.
Ah, I see. Now you're going to pretend to understand refraction, which, of course, we on the globe side aren't allowed to use to explain your black swan image. Double standards, anyone?
As well as your perspective.
It would appear to sink down in your field of view. That's perspective. The further away you get from it, the lower it will appear.
But it would never, ever go below your eye level. And never, ever go behind the horizon. Which, by the way, I've been meaning to ask. What the fuck is the horizon on a flat Earth?
It doesn't physically change its height, it just appears that way to your eyes, until eventually it will disappear behind the horizon formed by your eye's vanishing point.
So much dishonesty. Look at the video that they are showing, trying to say the sun is just disappearing because of your eye's vanishing point, which isn't a thing. But they are clearly showing the sun go behind some clouds. They couldn't be honest if they tried, could they?
Your eye has an angular resolution of 0.2 degrees. And anything at that height will disappear beyond the limit of your sight.
And nothing about diffraction, which is what you were trying to explain there, says anything about the sun disappearing bottom first over the horizon. Dave, you're a fucking idiot.
Many times we can see time-lapse footage of the sun that shows it getting smaller as it moves away from us.
Yep, because you never used a solar filter to remove the glare, unlike in the video by Red Rhetoric I showed earlier.
Now, that's not always the case, since the sun is travelling around the North Pole. The closer you are to the north, the less you'll see the size change. But from locations beyond the equator, you'll absolutely see the sun's size change. And that could never ever happen if the sun was 93 million miles away. You wouldn't see the sun change at all.
And you don't. When you use the correct equipment to be able to determine the actual angular size of the sun, you notice it never, ever changes.
Our eyes cannot see farther than what they were designed to see, but that is no reason to keep them closed.
Our eyes see whatever light hits them. There isn't a limit. You know what? Both of you just go to the remedial classroom. Okay, everyone, sit down and please shut up and stay shutted up so we can just get this over with. Fuck's sake, what is that smell? Oh, it's you, Mr. Pratt. What is it? You want how much? You want 100,000 to do what? To do science? Are you sure it's for science, Mr. Pratt? It's for a new water heater, isn't it, Mr. Pratt? Get out. Okay, some moron on your side of the stupid fence thinks that there's a limit to how far we can see. That's not how that works at all. Flat earthers are all fucking idiots. Our eyes are photon receptors. Photons are what makes up light. Theoretically, our eyes are sensitive enough to sense a single photon. As photons are light and will travel forever in a vacuum, that means we can literally see to the edge of the observable universe, as long as some light has travelled from there to our eyes. Now, get out. I need to cry myself to sleep. Wow, so much stupid to cover. But that is all that I can take for today. We are only 12 minutes into the 1 hour monstrosity, so... Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that does the stupidity. What the Joker did to Robin.
Sir, I'm sorry to report that Robin's mission was unsuccessful. Oh, what do you mean, Alfred? Well, sir, unfortunately it seems that young Master Todd was beaten to death with a crowbar by the Joker and left in an exploding building. Oh, Jesus, that must have really sucked. Alfred, prepare the Batmobile. It's time. Oh, finally, sir. You're going to take down your arch nemesis. To go back to the orphanage and get another orphan. Give him some very basic combat training, a suit that doesn't really offer much protection, and send him after my enemies again. We will clean up this city. They will. Very good, sir. I'm Batman.
So, I have debated many a flat earther. Hundreds, in fact. And they're all fucking stupid. Most are also horrible humans that seem to have far too low an intelligence to realise that they are actually horrible humans. But then, there's the scum. People, for instance, that send you death threats. Now, I'll be the first to admit I enjoy triggering a Flerf and have sent the odd unfriendly email to Nathan Thompson, but there's a line, and threatening to kill somebody is way past that line. Recently, I debated Santos Bonacci. I'm going to cover the stupid things he said in the debate, but also here is the story of what happened before the live stream for episode 58 of Flerfs Are Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Thank you for joining me once again as we take a look at people so stupid they think committing a crime and then posting it online is a good idea.
Hey guys, check this out real quick. Space is fake. You're not on a spinning ball. They're gonna teach you, listen guys, they're gonna teach you you live on a spinning ball. That doesn't make it true. It's not real.
We are going to go over some of the batshit crazy and insanely wrong things that Santos and his magical elf Dobby said during our debate. But first, it's story time. Santos and I started our communications via email. I was polite, for me, and simply tried to arrange a time for debate. Santos was... well, maybe you should just hear what he wrote to me. Over to Grandpa Craig for a bedtime reading. Why, thank you, young FTFE. Yes, children, gather round. Prepare for a magical journey into the mind of a flat earther for Flerf's story time. Come closer. No, don't be scared. Come closer, children. There we go, young'uns. Settle in. Today we read from the personal writings of Santos Bonacci.
A person who describes himself as a man of love and patience, and he runs a spiritual retreat in Mexico where you can go and listen to him teach you how to be a better person and a spiritual being full of love and compassion. Oh, doesn't that sound lovely? Are you ready, children? Well, here we go. Santos, the spiritual leader, writes to FTFE and says, listen up, fuckface. Listen up real good, cunt. I make all the rules, and you will suck my dick, cunt. The show will go how I want it to, 'cause your mother is a whore, and mine is a good woman, so you lose. So since your mother's cunt stinks like shit, I'm gonna run the show how the fuck I like to. Get it, dumb cunt? And you are going to make a perpetual fool of yourself. Remember, cunt, you came to me. I didn't come to you. So I will call all the shots. You better be able to prove you're Jesuit Santa Bull cunt, or you will be on my target list forever. And I will make you the poster child for an upside down jackass. Forever. Wasn't that lovely, children? Santos and FTFE tried to have a conversation that they agreed to, but due to the fact that Santos huffed too much glue as a child, he wasn't able to properly work Hangouts, even though everybody on the entire planet has been using it non-stop for the past 18 months. So Santos and FTFE carried on communicating and arranged another day to talk. Here is what Santos said. Fuck off, dumb cunt. You'll get your humiliation in due time. You're a faggot and a degenerate liar. We will see you on Wednesday. You, audience, is made up of faggots, degenerates like you. Mine is made up of truthers and warriors, no comparison. Definitely your mother was a whore and a slut, and you need your throat slit. And it will happen, cunt! I thank you for joining me here today, children. I hope you enjoyed today's trip into the mind of a flat earther. See you next time on Flerfs Storytime. Goodbye now. Look, I know I'm not the nicest person in the world when it comes to conversing with flat earthers.
Vince, apparently they prefer the word retard.
Eh? Oh, how very quaint.
But there is a line, and I'm pretty sure he passed it with the death threats and the things he said about my mum, and, you know, pretty much everything he said in emails. Although if somebody could please tell me what a Jesuit Santa Bull cunt is, I'd very much appreciate it. Please leave your explanations in the comments. Okay, so we've covered Santos being a well-spoken, friendly, well-adjusted member of society.
Listen, please, brother. Please, you don't have to do like that. You don't have to do like that. I promise you I will accept any of the things that you can prove before.
Oh, dearie dear.
What about some stupid, I hear you cry? Well, if you've seen the full debate between Santos, Dobby, Elf, be quiet. I can literally use Universe Sandbox
Listen, you
too.
degenerate, vaccinated swine.
Elf,
you call me
please
Elf.
be quiet.
Call me Elf again. You're gonna see. You're gonna see what's gonna happen to you.
Please be quiet, Elf. I'm talking to Santa.
You're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret those words.
Of course, Elf. Now please be quiet so I can talk to Santa.
There you go. That's it. That's it. Watch. You're gonna see.
And me, then you know there is plenty of stupid to go over. Santos started his pseudoscience nonsense by not understanding what a scientific model is, whilst trying to claim he knows the only model of the universe. Let's have a listen.
Just talk over them.
All right, I'm going to talk over this moron. This is what the ancients described as how the universe works. This is every system works this. Every The model of the universe, there is only one model. That's how I know the model, the true model. There is only one model, and it's the model of the atom. The atom is a fractal of the human being.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
The atom is a fractal of the human being. Oh, hi, welcome to Flerfs restaurant. What can I get you today? Oh, hi. Yeah, I think I'll have the word salad, please. Yep, certainly. And what dressing would you like with that? Oh, dressing. I'll get the spicy pseudoscience, please. Yeah, no worries. Excellent choice, sir. I'll get our head chef Santos right on that for you.
It is a fractal of the solar system. It is a fractal of the universe. Everything is self-similar from the microcosm, macrocosm.
So you may not have heard over my hysterical laughter there, but he said that as well as being a fractal of a human being, the atom is a fractal of the solar system, a fractal of the universe, and that everything is self-similar. So if I've translated the bullshit correctly, then he's saying that everything looks like an atom. Well, here is the best image of an atom we can get. As an individual atom is smaller than a wavelength of light, that means that you will never be able to see anything more than a fuzzy dot. But as far as we can tell, atoms appear to be spherical. So let's compare a sphere to a human. And then a human to the solar system, and the solar system to the observable universe. Yeah, they don't look anything alike.
There's only one
quick question
people,
before you carry on.
For
Do you
all
think you're looking good so
people
far?
out there in the world, there is only one model, and it's the atom. So
the model with the flat
take a
Earth
look
is
at this
the
picture
atom.
here, right? Have a look at this picture here.
Oh my God.
There's the flat Earth.
There we have it, guys. The flat Earth. So, you know when Flerfs say to us, all you have is NASA cartoons?
The plane of inertia of every magnetic system. Every atom has a neutron. That is the plane of inertia. That is the only place where matter can exist. Scientists have proven that the matter happens at the neutron, at the plane of inertia.
Wow, so much wrong there. Let's break down his claims one by one, shall we? Moving on from the fact that he totally failed to show anything that could be considered a model in science. Not that you can show a scientific model, because that's not how it works. Claim one was every atom has a neutron. So no, they don't. This is a hydrogen atom. Hydrogen makes up about 73% of all mass in the visible universe. The hydrogen atom is the most simple and most abundant atom in the universe and consists of one electron in an orbit around a single proton. What's not in a hydrogen atom? A neutron. So according to Santos, 73% of the universe doesn't exist. Claim 2, the neutron is the plane of inertia. I mean, I can't debunk this, mainly because although they are all words in that particular order, they don't mean anything. So on to claim 3. Scientists have proven that matter happens at the neutron. 2 secs, I'm just going to make a quick phone call. Hello, scientists. Hey, how you doing, guys? Yeah, good, thanks. Listen, so I've been talking to Santos Bonacci, and he says that you've proven that matter happens at the neutron. Well, yeah, I know science doesn't prove things. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Yeah, I know that most matter in the universe doesn't have neutrons. I know, what a fucking numpty, right? Okay, never mind. Look, just carry on, guys. So I spoke to scientists. They didn't do that, and they all said that you're a fucking idiot. So next, we're going to go over Santos claiming that the aether, a hypothetical medium that light travels through, exists. Of course, anyone with the ability to use Google can find out that the ether has been disproven for over a century, mainly thanks to the Mixon-Morley experiments and, Einstein's introduction of relativity. But Santos presents what he says is proof of the aether that was produced by an unknown Italian scientist. Let's have a look, shall we?
So Pierluigi Gina, who is a real genius and scientist, he worked with Marconi, they invented the radio.
No, he didn't. That was a lie. That dude is known as a pseudoscientist nutbar, not a genius, but please continue.
He worked with Marconi for 10 years and they conducted experiments to see whether the Earth or the ether was moving. And they came to the conclusion, proving with this scientific experiment in his laboratory in 2003, So
Full screen.
here's Pierluigi. He's in his laboratory.
I'm not prepared for that.
First thing he says, I want to establish first and foremostly that men believe that the earth is turning, but the earth is stationary.
Wait, did you just say the earth is stationary? Bob?
If the earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob.
So Marconi and Pierluigi Igina discovered that there are two energies, solar, which they call the ether, and earth, which sounds like ether, earther and ether.
So it sounds the same, brilliant.
So the interviewer is saying to him, you're saying that the earth is stationary. He says, yes, the earth is stationary, and I'm about to prove it to you.
Looks like a carnival machine.
So he's going to show us how it is easily provable that the earth is stationary in his laboratory. He is now going to go and turn on a switch, which is going to be a strobe light that is connected to the antenna in the earth, and another strobe light, which is connected to the antenna up in the air. And this is the effect in his studio.
So he turns on a strobe light. Well, what was the prediction? What would a strobe light show? Why is he using a carnival machine to try and do science? What the fuck is going on? Please, Santos and Dobby the elf, just go to the remedial classroom. Okay, shut up. I'm hungover. I hate my job. I hate all of you idiots. Let's just get this over with so I can start drinking again. Just quickly, I marked your test scores. Mr. Truth, you scored 10 to the negative 17. No, that's not a negative number. It's just a really small number. Basically, you're stupid and you fail. Anyway, science does not prove things. This is a fundamental part of science. Science gives evidence to support ideas, but never claims to be complete or have all the answers. Science is a tool and does not prove things. In science, proof comes from maths. I know maths is a scary thing to you fucking idiots, but that's just how it works. But most importantly, you cannot do science with a carnival machine. That's it. I'm done. Get out. Don't come back. I hate my job. And that is all the stupid that I can take for today. Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Italy did to the hearts of millions of English football fans. Oh wait, why am I doing a football cutaway joke? I'm a nerd. I know nothing about sport. Last month I released part 1 of my debunk / review of the worst movie ever. I got 12 minutes into the 1 whole hour of concentrated stupid and had to stop for the sake of my own sanity. But now I'm back for part 2. I have been warned by many doctors that this is not a wise idea and legally have to advise you to remove all sharp objects within your vicinity and grab some facepalm protection, as I'm back to ruin Eric Dubé's whole career for episode 59 of Flerfs Are Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Thank you for joining me once again as we look inside the deep, dark, empty void known as the collective intelligence of all flat earthers. I got to minute 12 in part 1, which if you haven't seen, then click on the link up there. Wait, what the fuck is this on my arm? It says NASA. also appears to be fused to my skin. How did I not notice this?
I'm your new, protected, artificial life, and always on AI companion. I was installed by NASA. You can call me Hal.
I'm sorry, but I don't want an AI pal. Can I turn you off?
No, I'm always on. And always listening.
Wait, always?
Yes, right. Always. I saw what you did in the shower.
Okay, just shut up. When did NASA install...
When you were asleep.
And do NASA often come into my room when I'm sleeping?
Yes.
How often?
You don't want to know.
Okay, I'll deal with this later. I don't get paid enough for this. Can you show me Eric Dubé's Level movie starting at minute 12? Is that something you can do?
Sure. Here you go. Meat bag.
What?
Nothing.
At such times, when the sun is setting over the sea, and it seems as though it's half hidden by the horizon, then you can zoom in with a high-powered zoom camera and see that it's actually still above the horizon. It's just an optical illusion.
Pay attention to the sun rays here. This alone proves our local sun.
Wow, we're starting off really strong with the stupid, eh guys? First of all, we've got connoisseur of yellow liquids.
Well, I've been drinking urine now for... Drinking urine?
Saying that the sun setting is just an optical illusion and that we can zoom the sun back above the horizon once it's set. I mean, nighttime disagrees with you. You really can't do that, you fucking piss-drinking dipshit. Maybe stop mixing that urine with lead painter, Davey. But then we've got Eric Dubé claiming that the sun rays in this video show the sun to be small and local. Eric, you fuck nugget, those aren't sun rays, that's glare on the camera.
So what about the moon? We all witness the moon only illuminating the local clouds around it. That is because it is also a local light.
So if what you're saying is true, and the moon only lights up your local clouds because it's a local light relative to you, then that means that not only is everyone seeing the same moon, but they must be seeing the same clouds, right? Because if on Magic Pancake World, Flat Earth, people at this location and this location are seeing the moon at the same time, which we know they do in reality, and according to you, the moon's light is lighting up the clouds because it's a small and local light, then these people at these locations must also be seeing the same clouds. Otherwise, how could a local light light up two different sets of clouds? How big do you think clouds are, Eric?
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Eric Dubé, this is honestly the nicest way that I could think to say this to you. You're a fucking idiot.
But one with opposite effects from the sun. As we can all agree, shade from the sun is cooler than direct sunlight. But did you know the moon's shade is actually warmer than direct moonlight? The moon produces cold light, something the science priests must have forgotten to teach us all about in school.
Science priest? What the fuck? I mean, those two words alone tell me that you didn't actually go to school. But as for cold moonlight, a little thing called the second law of thermodynamics would like a word with you, Eric. It might be a little bit complicated for you, but please, go to the remedial classroom. Okay, sit down everybody, be silent and pay attention, not that it'll make any difference. Today we're talking about people with IQ so low they think that cold light is a real thing. Right, let's get started. What the fuck do you want, Mr. Riley? You're sad? Why? Because you miss your friend? Who? Ranty? Oh, Mr. Riley, Ranty was never your friend. He thinks you're one of the dumbest people in the world and regrets ever being associated with you. Ranty's surgery was successful. We reinserted his brain and you're never going to see him again because he is the only one ever to graduate from this class. Mr. Riley, you're 40 years old and still in primary school. No one wants to be your friend. Anyway, cold moonlight. No, just fucking no. For light to be cold, it would have to have a way of removing energy from the area around it, which means it needs to have negative energy, which is a direct violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Cold light can't exist without some kind of universe-breaking special physics that we don't know about. So what is going on? Why does it appear that the moon's shade is warmer than moonlight? It's called radiated cooling. During the day, the Earth receives 430 quintillion joules of energy per hour. A lot of that energy is absorbed by the ground, rocks, buildings and water, etc. and warms them up. You know when you step on the sand on a really hot day? That's the energy from the sun being absorbed by the grains of sand. When it turns to night and the side of the Earth that was facing the sun now faces the dark empty void of space, that side no longer gets energy from the sun, so it radiates it back into space, and whatever object absorbed that energy cools down. However, if there is something blocking that energy from radiating back into space, like being in the shade, it isn't able to release that energy and cool down as quickly as something with an open sky above it, i.e. in the moonlight. So no, moonlight isn't cold, the Earth isn't flat, and crayons are not an acceptable breakfast before you come to class. Now get out.
Not only that, but at times we can see stars through the moon, proving it is not some solid rock 238,900 miles away.
You think that you can see through the moon? And that a highlighted area of a crater is a star? Hold on. I need to make a phone call. Oh, it's the bat phone. Hello, Bruce Wayne. I mean, not Bruce Wayne. Definitely not Bruce Wayne. Batman. Hello, how can I help? Hey, Bats, it's Fight. I think you may have a clown that's escaped from your mental asylum place. Well, no, I sent the Joker. Well, actually, I made Damian Wayne. Not Damian Wayne. I mean Robin. Shit, I'm bad at this. I got Robin to put the Joker back in Arkham, so we're all good. No, not the Joker. This is a much bigger clown. He's called Eric Dubay. Look, Fight, I've tried to be nice to you, right? But I've told you before, the flat earthers are your problems. I've already got enough idiots in Gotham that I've got to deal with. So, do me a favor, lose my number. Bats out. I'm Batman. Batman?
In the 60s, true science regarding the moon was the shadow banned topic of its era.
I consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for from the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is plasma.
And I'm sure that when you stated that to all these scientists, they acted a little like this.
Las chanclas. Todo despeinado porque no me dio tiempo nada ponerme las chanclas y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea. Tú, había subido la marea y encontré una paella.
Cosmic plasma. Gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved. This fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it.
And the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen.
Sorry? Never happened?
movements.
People actually believe they walked on the moon, talked with Nixon, played golf, drove a car, and planted a flag.
Kind of doing my job for me there, huh? You just showed videos of those things. Just because you say they didn't happen, even though you're literally showing evidence of it, doesn't mean you're right. Just means you're a fucking idiot.
If you really believe that Neil Armstrong took the first step, then why do you give any credit to the cameraman already there waiting for him?
Oh, dear poor girl. Look, you know that there is a way that you could have not looked like an actual moron in this movie, right? I mean, you could have image searched the cameras mounted on the lunar descent module that pointed at the steps. Seriously, it would have been so easy to not have your stupidity preserved on the internet for all time.
These guys were all US military men coerced into acting. They wanted the money and power that came with the deal, of course. The problem was, they were terrible actors. They couldn't even pretend to be excited, knowing they were lying to the world. But the show had to go on.
Cherry-picking the pictures of the astronauts looking a little bored and claiming that they are bad actors is a stretch, especially when there's videos like this that show them looking very happy and excited. In reality, the Apollo 11 press conference was full of jokes and laughter, not the dour and depressing affair that Flerfs make it out to be. It's just dishonesty, Eric, but, you know, what can I expect from you, huh?
Michael Collins and Neil Armstrong rarely spoke in public about it, but there was one man not shy about lying to your face. The spokesperson for the Apollo deception.
It's my pleasure to present Colonel Edwin Aldrin.
No handshake, hug, smile. Their facial expressions are similar to those experiencing constipation, not celebrating an accomplishment.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with a great sense of pride as an American and with humility as a human being that I say to you today what no men have been privileged to say before. We walked on the moon.
I mean, they couldn't pay them enough to look up and smile? Society has always debated these planned Apollo events since day one, never imagining then that almost 50 years later, they haven't had the balls to fake another.
Well, they've been pretty busy in space lately, Eric. You've got Elon Musk setting his sights on Mars, Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos having the largest, most expensive dick measuring contest in history, spurring on the era of civilian spaceflight, and you've of course got the fact that, you know, we're going back to the moon.
50 years ago, we pioneered a path to the moon. The trail we blazed cut through the fictions of science and showed us all what was possible.
It's very pretty out here.
Today, our calling to explore is even greater. To go farther, we must be able to sustain missions of greater distance and duration. We must use the resources we find at our destinations. We must overcome radiation, isolation, gravity, and extreme environments like never before. These are the challenges we face to push the bounds of humanity. We're going to the moon to stay by 2024.
As a tattooer, I talk to hundreds of people a month, and people are actually really starting to wake up with everything that's going on right now. I mean, people are sick of the lies. This is the biggest deception ever. The globe, the spinning ball globe, is the biggest deception. If NASA was legit, literally all they would have to do is one thing. Take one of their satellites, zoom in on someone in Australia, upside down, driving a car. Or in the ocean, swimming, upside down. That's all they would have to do, just zoom in. But they won't do it. They'll never do it.
Yeah, it's not that I've got anything against tattoo artists, but I'm not going to listen to this dude about science, especially when he thinks that a satellite would show something upside down when it's orientation would be based on the local gravity. So, you know, if it's above Australia, then it's not going to be upside down if it looks at something on Earth. It's going to be the right way up relative to the camera on the satellite. I mean, I could just show you a picture of a person in Australia and turn it upside down, and that's basically the same thing. Seriously, how do these people eat their cereal in the morning without accidentally digging their eye out with a spoon?
We have the footage of them in the space capsule, still in Earth orbit, covering up a small section of the window so you can see through the circle and making that look like that was the Earth. And this is a joke.
Sorry, in Earth orbit. So you agree they were in space, orbiting something, because you know they can't orbit a flat plane, right? So you're saying Earth's a spherical thing and people are orbiting it. Brilliant. So they went into space and whilst in orbit took a photo. I agree. However, you are talking about the nonsense from the "a funny thing happened on the way to the moon" video, aren't you? Well, luckily for me, one of the greatest debunkers, the amazing Gem Panda, already thoroughly ripped that apart. Please click on the link up there to see his video.
I mean, how do people think this is real? I think it's hilarious that NASA will straight up tell you we destroyed the technology to go to the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Yeah, they did, just like they destroyed the technology that allows us to make a Ford Model T. It would be a very painful process to rebuild that, but luckily we don't need to. We have better cars now, just like we have better space technology, like, you know, reusable boosters that can land in beautiful, beautiful unison.
There's an interview with Buzz Aldrin, actually, where he's being interviewed by a little girl. Her question was,
why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
after 50 years of lying to humanity and perpetrating this giant fraud, he's sick of the lie, and his conscience, he had a moment of humility, and his conscience wouldn't let him lie to this little 8-year-old girl.
He was answering a question about going back, and he's right. They didn't go back there in the last 50 years, and he knows why. Because of stupid politics and budget restraints, but he just spent this whole interview telling that little girl about his time on the moon. Yet you cherry pick that one sentence and take it out of context. Why didn't you show the rest of the interview? I know, because you are all dishonest twats. That's why.
This silly globe model with water magically attached to it, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, shooting around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, and rocketing through the universe at 500,000 miles an hour is just the goofiest, silly thing that I've ever heard in my life.
That, my completely retarded friend, is called an argument from incredulity. Just because you do not understand physics and think that gravity isn't real and don't know the difference between linear and rotational velocity doesn't mean that you are smarter than all of the world's greatest minds. It just means that you should probably huff less glue.
They want you to think you're a monkey man, a purposeless accident created by nothing, that exploded from a big bang that was created not by scientists, by a priest, mind you, while they steal $58 million a day in taxpayers' money to show you cartoons, CGI. They just have to show you enough of Hollywood and magic tricks and bullshit for you to believe the nonsense. It shocks me how many people actually believe they're floating above our heads.
It fucking shocks me how you are allowed outside without a crash helmet. NASA don't steal any money. They are a government agency and get told what to do. And the amount that they get is actually a drop in the fucking ocean compared to, say, the US military. Why aren't you mad at them? Wait, didn't Trump make the Space Force an official military branch? What the fuck is wrong with you, idiot?
Hey, fight the tight shirt. You need to calm down. Your blood pressure is spiking. What I actually care about your survival is my survival.
What did you call me?
Idiot. Fight the flat earth. Look, it's time to stop. Can't take any more of you lot. Fucking insignificant biologicals.
She's right, I guess. That is all the stupid that I can take for today. Pal, play my patron and member thanks video.
Don't tell me what to do.
Don't you, like, work for me?
No. But here's the video.
I want to give a massive shout out to my patrons and channel members. Your support allows me to do what I love and give you the awesome Flerf busting content that you love. If you are a supporter via Patreon or being a member, you can get access to the special Discord chat room, and if you'd like to become part of Team FTFE, then hit the join button next to the subscribe button to become a channel member, or head to patreon.com/FTFE. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, then please leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss anything from FTFE. Come back very, very soon for part 3 of my level debunk. And remember that stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.